And I think there's always been a creative footprint on this show. I think there's one on Zoe's show as well.
Yeah.
And
I think anybody is replaceable. I believe that. Do you know of any other sources that provide accurate information about them besides a member? Thomas Mark Harmon is a well-known American actor and former football player who is best recognized for his role as Leroy Jethro Gibbs, the main character on the television show NCIS. With its riveting narratives, unforgettable characters, and unflinching commitment to patriotism, NCIS managed to captivate audiences and viewers all over the world for a total of 19 seasons. The iconic actor, however, is responsible for bringing tensions to the forefront behind the scenes, and her departure from the NCIS set was precipitated by an incident that occurred with a fellow co-star. Participate with us as we delve into the revelations and untold stories of the NCIS set, which Mark Harmon has provided directly to us. Early life of Mark Harmon. Mark Harmon does not consider himself to be a member of the celebrity world. The actor, who is considered a heavyweight in Hollywood, would rather maintain a low profile in California. In spite of the fact that she has appeared in major blockbusters and has become a legend on NCIS, the television star has become a mystery. She is known for being extremely private and incredibly humble. It was on September 2, 1951, that Thomas Mark Harmon gave the son a love kiss. In addition to being a former football player, he is an American actor. He was the youngest of 3 children and was born in Burbank, California. Harmon was the youngest of the 3. His mother, Elise Knox, was an actress, model, and artist, and his father, Tom Harmon, was a football player who won the Heisman Trophy and was an accomplished broadcaster. Harmon had 2 older sisters, Kristen Nelson, an actress and painter who passed away, and Kelly Harmon, an actress and model who was formerly married to car magnate John DeLorean. Kristen Nelson was divorced from Rick Nelson, who passed away, and Kelly Harmon was a divorcee from Rick Nelson. The immigrants who made up his maternal grandparents were from Austria. His most notable role was that of Leroy Jethro Gibbs, the main character on the television show NCIS. Since the early 1970s, he has made appearances on television in a wide range of roles, including those of Dr. Robert Caldwell on Saint Elsewhere, Detective Dickie Cobb on Reasonable Doubts, and Dr. Jack Menil on Chicago Hope, among others. Additionally, he has appeared in films such as Summer School, Prince of Bel-Air, Stealing Home, Wyatt Up, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Freaky Friday, and Chasing Liberty. Harmon received his associate's degree from Pierce College in Los Angeles, which he attended for a total of 2 years following his graduation from Harvard Westlake School in 1970. Harmon received offers from major college football programs after his second season at Pierce in 1971. However, he ultimately decided to attend UCLA rather than Oklahoma, despite the fact that Oklahoma had finished second in the nation in the previous season. In 1971, as a quarterback for the UCLA Bruins in 1972 and 1973, he began his career at the university after transferring to the University of California, Los Angeles. It was during his first game that his UCLA team pulled off a stunning upset by defeating the Nebraska Cornhuskers, who had previously won the national championship twice. At LA Coliseum, the Bruins defeated the top-ranked Huskers by a score of 20-17 thanks to a late field goal made by Efren Herrera. The Bruins were an 18-point home underdog against the Huskers. During his senior year, Harmon was honored with the Outstanding All-Round Performance Award from the National Football Foundation. The wishbone offense that coach Pepper Rogers ran at UCLA resulted in a record of 17-5 during the 2 years that he played quarterback for the school. Unfortunately, Harmon was not selected in the 1974 NFL Draft, despite the fact that he started at quarterback for UCLA for 2 seasons. Harmon received his Bachelor of Arts degree from UCLA in 1974 with high honors. When it comes to messages, in 2010, he was honored with induction into the Pierce College Athletic Hall of Fame, which was the first class to be admitted. What happens now that college is over? Shall we go on? In the years following his graduation from college, Harmon contemplated a career in either the field of advertising or the field of law. After beginning his professional life as a merchandising director, he quickly made the decision to transition into the acting industry. He spent a significant portion of his career portraying members of the medical and law enforcement communities in addition to his appearances as an athlete. One of his first national television appearances was in a commercial for Kellogg's product 19 Cows, which he appeared in alongside his father, Tom Harmon, who had been the company's TV spokesman for long. This was his first acting job, and it was in an episode of Oz's Girls. His sister Kristen's in-laws, Ozzie Nelson and Harriet Nelson, were the ones who helped him land the job. After this, she appeared as a guest on episodes of Adam 12, Policewoman, and Emergency. In the middle of 1975. In addition to that, he appeared in the backdoor pilot episode of the series 905 Wild, which was about two Los Angeles officers of the county's animal control department, which did not sell. After that, Harmon was cast in Sam, a 1978 series that was a short-lived show about an lapped officer and his K-9 partner. The series was produced and created by Jack Webb, who was also the product packager for both series. Prior to this, Harmon was recognized with a nomination for an Emmy Award in the category of Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Miniseries or a Movie for his role as Robert Dunlap in the television movie Eleanor and Franklin, The White House Years. During the year 1978, he made an appearance in 3 episodes of the miniseries Centennial, playing the role of Captain John McIntosh, a respected Union cavalry officer. Harmon appeared as a guest on a number of television shows during the middle to late 1970s. Some of these shows include Laverne and Shirley, Del Vecchio, The Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew Mysteries, and Nancy Drew Comes a Horseman, which was released in 1978, and Beyond the Poseidon Adventure both featured him in supporting roles from the film industry. Following that, he was cast as Deputy Dwayne Thibodeau's in the 1979 action series 240 Robert, in which he also had a co-starring role. Additionally, the series was only on the air for a short period of time, but it focused on the missions of the emergency services detail of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. Fielding Carlisle, the husband of Morgan Fairchild's character, was the character that Harmon played in the 1980 season of the primetime soap opera Flamingo Road, which was Harmon's first role in a regular capacity. After 2 seasons, the show was cancelled despite the fact that it had initially received positive ratings. Immediately after the show was cancelled, he was offered the part of Dr. Mark Harmon played Dr. Robert Caldwell on the television series St. Elsewhere beginning in 1983 and remained on the show until early 1986, appearing for nearly 3 seasons. During this time, his character became one of the first major recurring television figures to be diagnosed with HIV as a result of unprotected sexual contact. The subsequent death of his character from AIDS, which occurred off-screen, was referenced 2 years later. Around the mid-1980s, Harmon also became a spokesperson for Coors Regular Beer, appearing in commercials for the brand that aired on television. In 1986, Harmon reached several major milestones in his career. In January, People magazine named him the sexiest man alive. After leaving St. Elsewhere in February, he took on leading roles in television films such as Prince of Bel-Air, where he starred alongside Kirstie Alley, and The Deliberate Stranger, in which he portrayed real-life serial killer Ted Bundy. That same year, he appeared in the theatrical film Let's Get Harry and then went on to play the lead in the 1987 comedy Summer School, once again co-starring with Kirstie Alley and alongside Patrick Labyorteaux, who would later star in J.G. and NCIS. At this point, Harmon's career was flourishing. In 1987, Harmon made a brief return to episodic television with a limited role on the show Moonlighting, playing Sybil Shepherd's love interest, Sam Crawford, for a few episodes. He also starred in the TV movie After the Promise. By 1988, he was appearing alongside Sean Connery and Meg Ryan in the feature film The Presidio and co-starred with Jodie Foster in Stealing Home. Both films were released in the same year. Following his 1989 romantic comedy Worth Winning, he returned to television. Harmon's next regular television role came in the NBC series Reasonable Doubts, where he portrayed Chicago police detective Dickie Cobb for 2 seasons. In 1993, he guest-starred in the CBS comedy western series Hearts of the West, playing a rodeo clown, a role that had him share the screen with Sean Murray, who would later become a cast member on NCIS. In 1995, Harmon starred as a private investigator in the short-lived ABC television series Charlie Grace. He later returned to medical ensemble dramas with a role on Chicago Hope, where he played Dr. Jack Menil from 1996 to 2000. The series lasted only 1 season after his involvement. he also appeared in a single episode of the 1998 miniseries From the Earth to the Moon, playing astronaut Wally Schirra. So, what role truly brought Mark Harmon to mainstream prominence? The answer lies in his portrayal of Leroy Jethro Gibbs in NCIS, a role that made him a household name and earned him widespread recognition and numerous awards. Let's take a closer look at NCIS, the show that catapulted him into stardom. NCIS is the first installment in the NCIS media franchise. It is a military police procedural drama that incorporates elements of comedy and is produced in the United States. The series follows a fictional team of special agents from the Naval Criminal Investigative Service. The concept and characters were first introduced in 2 episodes of the CBS television series JG, Ice Queen and Meltdown, which aired during that show's 8th season. The pilot episode of NCIS debuted on CBS on September 23, 2003. As of now, the show is in its 21st full season and has entered syndication on the USA Network. Donald P. Bellisario and Don McGill, who served as executive producers, also co-created the early episodes of the NCIS franchise. Alongside Law and Order, Special Victims Unit, NCIS is one of the 3 longest-running live-action scripted television series currently airing during prime time in the US, ranking as the 3rd longest of all time. Originally titled Navy NCIS, a partially redundant acronym, the series was later shortened to NCIS. During its 6th season, a 2-part episode served as the launchpad for the spin-off NCIS, Los Angeles. Another spin-off, NCIS, New Orleans, was created following a 2-part episode aired during the 11th season. Although the show received modest ratings during its early seasons, barely breaking into the top 30, it saw a dramatic rise by its 3rd season, consistently ranking in the top 20. In a 2011 online Harris poll, NCIS was voted the most popular television show in the United States. By the end of its 10th season, it had become the most-watched television program in the country during the 2012 to 2013 broadcast season. It eventually surpassed Gunsmoke as the longest-running scripted primetime series in CBS history. In a statement released on January 5, 2024, CBS revealed plans for a prequel series titled NCIS: Origins, which will air during the 2024 to 2025 season. On February 28, 2024, it was announced that Paramount would exclusively distribute another spin-off series, NCIS: Tony and Ziva. CBS granted a renewal for NCIS to continue into its 22nd season on April 9, 2024. In addition to his role on NCIS, Harmon also appeared on The West Wing in May 2002, playing Secret Service Special Agent Simon Donovan in a 4-episode story arc. It was exactly 25 years after his first Emmy nomination that he received his second, this time for The West Wing. His performance caught the attention of Donald P. Bellisario, the creator of both JAG and NCIS. This led to Harmon being cast in 2 episodes of JAG in April 2003, where he was introduced as NCIS agent Leroy Jethro Gibbs, a former Marine and NCIS operative. Though he was already a seasoned Hollywood actor at the age of 52, Harmon had no idea just how popular NCIS would become. Today, Mark Harmon is considered a television legend. Mark Harmon starred on NCIS over the course of 18 years. During an interview with Larry King in 2014, the actor expressed his gratitude to the cast and crew for the everlasting success of the show. "You know, I believe that we have put in a lot of effort," he said. "It wasn't always as successful as it is now, and I believe that a lot of people are responsible for that. I think it's important on this show how people are treated, and you've got to give credit to the cast and the crew." Starting in September, Harmon starred as Gibbs in the CBS drama NCIS, earning him 6 nominations at the People's Choice Awards, including a win for Favorite TV Crime Drama Actor in 2017. While on the show, he was reunited with 3 of his former Chicago Hope co-stars, Rocky Carroll, Lauren Holly, and Jane Krakowski, in the 4th episode of the show's 19th season. Harmon's Gibbs left the series as a regular. This departure was set in motion by the events that occurred in the season finale of the previous season. Harmon had a strong professional relationship with his NCIS co-stars, many of whom became close friends. Since 2008, he has also been a producer and executive producer on the show. But before we get into their difficulties, let's take a quick look at the reasons why Mark Harmon, best known for his leading role as Leroy Jethro Gibbs, left NCIS. If you want to know the reason behind his departure, keep watching. Mark Harmon has been the face of NCIS ever since the show was first introduced in 2003. He played the role of Special Agent in Charge Leroy Jethro Gibbs. While Mark Harmon continued to serve as an executive producer despite Gibbs' absence, his character remained absent from the show. NCIS is the longest-running scripted primetime series on CBS. It follows the lives and adventures of federal special agents who are responsible for investigating felony military crimes, preventing terrorism, and protecting secrets for the Navy and Marine Corps. However, the question remains, why did Mark Harmon leave NCIS in Season 19? NCIS, created by Don McGill and the prolific creator-producer Donald P. Belisario, who is also responsible for Magnum P.I., Quantum Leap, and Airwolf, has experienced a number of significant cast departures throughout its long and illustrious history. These departures have included original characters such as Tony, Abby, and Kate, as well as Kate's replacement, Ziva. However, Harmon's departure was the most significant of all. CBS is no stranger to replacing leading figures on their series, and NCIS somehow survived without Agent Gibbs, with Gary Cole stepping into the role as the team leader. Harmon's departure came early in Season 19, leaving CBS with plenty of time to see if the show could work without him. How did Gibbs's final NCIS storyline play out? When Gibbs left NCIS in terms of the storyline, his final case had been in the works for quite some time. In Harmon's penultimate episode, the team discovered that the murders they believed were carried out by a serial killer were actually the work of a hired hitman named Jason Wiley. After discarding FBI agent Alden Parker, Gary Cole's Gibbs took the hitman to the location he desired in exchange for information. The slayer blew himself up, but only after revealing he was responsible for destroying Gibbs's boat, and not before telling Gibbs who hired him. Gibbs traveled to Alaska, where the investigation led him to Sunava Industries, whose pending copper mining project threatened to wreck the area. After learning that Sunava's CEO, Sonia Eberhard, Valerie Pedford, hired the hitman to slay everyone who might disclose details of the environmental damage the mine would cause, Gibbs and the NCIS team came to a resolution. During the 18th season of NCIS, Mark Harmon was prepared to move on to other things. However, in order to ensure that the series would be renewed, he negotiated a limited appearance at the end of the 19th season. As a producer and longtime veteran of the franchise, he became invested in the future of the series. Since the FBI fired Agent Parker for helping Gibbs, he found a job waiting for him at NCIS. This gave NCIS the best chance of being renewed. They had time to demonstrate that they could keep an audience without Harmon. NCIS had the opportunity to show they could maintain their viewership even without Harmon. According to the interview that he gave, what was the primary reason that he left? Mark Harmon provided an explanation for his departure, saying, "I was tired. For the longest time, being at home with a young family, reducing the amount of time spent traveling and working in the film industry were all requirements of the job. On the first day, we worked for 22 hours, and I thought to myself, that's not exactly what I thought this would be. However, we had a lot of days like that in the first 4 years of the relationship." Gibbs wanted to retire to a quiet life instead of dying in a heroic blaze of glory, so the door remains open for a possible future return. Showrunner Steve Binder said as much in a statement released the night of Harmon's departure via Instagram. As an executive producer and dear friend, Mark continues to be an integral part of the fabric of the show. Our North Star has always been true to our characters, and that truth has always guided the stories we tell and where those characters go. Therefore, with regard to the future of Gibbs, those who have been watching the show for a long time may have noticed that they should never count out Leroy Jethro Gibbs. What did Mark Harmon reveal after he left the show? Even though Mark Harmon is considered to be the heart and soul of NCIS, it is impossible to imagine the show running for such a long time without the charismatic father figure of Gibbs. However, this does not mean that the actor did not have his fair share of struggles while working on the show. Watch the show to find out more. In spite of the fact that NCIS is one of the longest-running shows in the history of television with over 450 episodes, the military police procedural has spanned across 3 different decades. Mark Harmon appears to still be holding on to his long-standing feud with his former co-star, which was recently revealed to be linked to the new spin-off series NCIS, Europe. When there is so much history packed into a single television show, it is inevitable that there will be at least one or two on-set beefs. In fact, according to some of his former co-stars, Harmon was the cause of many behind-the-scenes conflicts. Regardless of which side you take in these feuds, it is always interesting to check out the drama that occurred during the filming of your favorite show. Therefore, if you are interested in learning more about all the conflicts, continue watching to learn about the stories that former NCIS stars share. Let's talk about NCIS Mark Harmon's feud with Michael Weatherly, which was so prominent that it is still going on. As far as Harmon is concerned, Michael is a toxic pain in the butt. A source told Closer, he is nothing but trouble. Harmon still has little patience for Weatherly's behavior, according to a source who is familiar with the working relationship between them. The former co-star and Weatherly, even though they have been working together for many years, Harmon continues to view Michael as a loose cannon. The bad blood that exists between co-workers is a fairly common occurrence, whether it is the result of a misunderstanding or a good old-fashioned heated disagreement. The majority of beefs result in relationships that are beyond repair. In a 2007 interview with the Futon Critic, Weatherly admitted that he had some shortcomings on the set of NCIS. When it came to Weatherly's interactions with Harmon, he believes that it all came down to a difference in philosophy. Fortunately for fans of NCIS, the feud between Weatherly and Harmon never escalated to that level. Mark Harmon and I were on opposite poles, according to Weatherly. I was in Antarctica and he was at the North Pole. He was just looking down there and asking, "What is going on with your polarity? And what is going on?" When it came to me, the water went down the drain in the opposite direction. He was perplexed by my presence from the very beginning. There was a particular instance in which Weatherly became aware of how different he was from his co-star. When CNN Showbiz Today or one of those shows asked what the best part about doing the pilot was, when we were doing the upfront, I responded by saying that I got a rubber gun and I got a fake badge. Harmon looked at me like, "That is your CNN answer," in response, and I felt like a little kid who had won too many bowls of Count Chocula. Did you know that Michael Weatherly's behavior has resulted in financial losses? In 2016, Weatherly left NCIS to star in the legal drama Bull. After the show had a successful season, CBS decided to renew it and look into ways to ensure its continued existence. The show signed actress Eliza Dushku on a 3-episode contract with plans to promote her to a full-time cast member. But when Dushku alleged that Weatherly made several inappropriate comments directed at her, Bull producers promptly ended her contract. After a lengthy investigation, Dushku was awarded a $9.5 million settlement following her termination. In response to his behavior, Weatherly apologized to Dushku in a statement to the New York Times. "During taping our show, I made some jokes mocking some lines in the script," Weatherly said. "When Eliza told me that she wasn't comfortable with my language and attempted humor, I was mortified to have offended her and immediately apologized. The more I think about this, the more I realize that what I said was neither funny nor appropriate. I am sorry and regret the pain that this caused Eliza." According to Donald P. Belisario, although his influence on the show will never be forgotten, he left in 2007. Although it was long rumored that the creator's departure had to do with the demands of the show's star, it was later confirmed that the creator's departure was indeed due to the demands of the star. It is difficult to imagine the circumstances that would cause the show's creator and mastermind behind the story to leave in the middle of production. Belisario's chaotic approach to the show did not sit well with Harmon, and as a result, the relationship between him and the showrunner became strained. In a feature on the show for The Hollywood Reporter, NCIS co-creator Don McGill referred to the conflict as classic Hollywood creative differences and immediately apologized. Harmon was involved in yet another famous feud, specifically with Paulie Perrette. What do you think caused Perrette to leave NCIS? Keep watching to find out. Although NCIS is known for its procedural format, the chemistry between the cast members is arguably the most impressive aspect of the show. Regrettably, things behind the scenes were not the case until Perrette's departure. To make a long story short, she stated that Mark Harmon terrified her after she had an encounter with his dog. Gibbs and Abby's relationship was arguably one of the best relationships on the MCRT. Despite the fact that the roster of the MCRT has changed multiple times over the years, Paulie Perrette, who left NCIS in 2018, stated in 2019 that she would never return to the show due to her issues with co-star Mark Harmon. Despite this, CBS executives indicated in 2024 they were open to her return, especially after an NCIS tribute episode referenced her character Abby. Mark Harmon, known for his active lifestyle, discussed overcoming a shoulder injury through Pilates and his decision to avoid social media to maintain privacy. With his wife, actress Pam Dawber, the two married in 1987 after a low-key courtship and have since raised two sons, Sean and Ty. Celebrating 36 years together, Harmon attributes their lasting marriage to laughter and communication. Harmon also displayed real-life heroism in 1996 by rescuing a teenager from a burning car, for which he received praise from the fire department. Although he humbly downplays the act, he acknowledges the importance of helping others. Since leaving NCIS in season 19, Harmon remains involved as an executive producer. He has also ventured into writing, recently releasing Ghosts of Honolulu, a historical book about Pearl Harbor's untold spy stories inspired by the Naval Criminal Investigative Service. Harmon remarked that he isn't retired and hopes to continue learning from history and sharing unique stories. What do you think about Mark Harmon's departure from NCIS? Please share your thoughts in the comment section below. The work that they were doing was critically important, but no one was aware of it.